Hello everyone, this is Shweta Tripathi from TheFederal, and we have with us Sarada Muraleedharan, the Chief Secretary of Kerala, whose recent post on color bias and discrimination has actually sparked conversations about the prejudice. Welcome, ma'am. Thanks for joining us today. Uh,
Thank you.
so, when we start talking about color based discrimination, and we note that it has been there for ages. Even today, women in power, be it a politician, a civil servant, or just any other woman even in corporate sector, they're judged for their physical appearance and not merely recognized for their role as a professional. So, why is it that women are judged more for their looks than for their work, while men escape this judgment?
I'm not sure that men escape this judgment entirely.
Okay.
I
Hmm.
mean, what constitutes acceptable is perhaps a
Hmm.
larger, a broader spectrum,
Right.
as far as male stereotypes are concerned, as against
Hmm.
female. Um,
Hmm.
but why do we? Why? Of course, there is this whole dimension of gender and how
Hmm.
society as a whole use the
Hmm.
role of women. So the moment you step out into
Hmm.
a non-conventional role, which
Right.
by now should have become conventional, but is still
Yes.
not conventional enough. Um,
Hmm.
I guess for women, you then start getting all these things coming at
Hmm.
you.
Right.
Your
Right.
looks, and those looks are against a particular standard. It's an artificial
Right.
standard we created,
Right.
but we still are gauged against that standard.
Right.
And appearance or physical appearance has quite a bit to do with that. All
Right.
said and done, people have this tendency to gravitate towards what they think looks good, looks beautiful, looks elegant, looks
Hmm.
polished, looks sophisticated, because there are all good values associated with all of this, which means that
Right.
everything which does not fit into our definitions of all of this,
Right.
therefore, is something lesser.
Okay. Okay. So there are definitions of what is beautiful, what is pretty. We see that this color-based judgment begins at a very early age, right? Like even when a baby is born, there are all kind of comments made whether the baby is bright or dark. At home, also, when there are parents or relatives that keep pointing it out to a child that they're dark or black, uh, as if it is something wrong or if it is the child's fault. So, has that ever happened to you? And do you think
Of course, it
how
has.
can we change this picture?
The only way, because in response to my post, there
Hmm.
have been numerous people from all walks of life, uh,
Right.
of, people whom we regard as successful, people
Hmm.
whom we regard as your regular
Hmm. Yeah.
homemaker, uh,
Hmm.
but also from men as well, who have been saying that this is a narrative that they've been hearing from their own
Hmm.
childhood, and it
Right.
starts as close as home.
Hmm.
You are your color is a counterpoint to the color
Identity.
of siblings, of your parents, or somebody in the family, and it's always so those comparisons get made from the very start, and we internalize this. It's not as if we are consciously thinking or talking color as we go along, but we internalize this. This is not nice enough, and that's
Hmm.
part of what I wanted to say. It is not just about the whole issue of colorism, which is very important, but also about saying that I want to claim this color, and I want to proclaim that it is beautiful.
Right. 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 So these kind of conversations can begin at home, wherein like the parents can change these definitions. Uh, in also it's a social
Then
thing, like we say.
it's not that easy because how do parents, grandparents, relations, your
Mhm.
near relations, your near friends, all the people
Right.
that you come with who have
Yeah.
internalized this, how are they
Yeah.
going to change their perception? How are they going to say, oh, my child, because when they get concerned about the color of their child, the concern is not arising in many cases out of a desire to put down the child, but to
Right.
say, oh, you've got a handicap, how, let me help you overcome that handicap. So
mm,
the
mm.
problem is in our regarding this as a handicap.
Right, right, right. So the whole identity of the color itself, is quite wrong. In one of the interviews, you've mentioned how the color of one's skin is also linked to their class, the caste. Where do you think this roots from? Like, melanin in one's skin has become the reason of caste-based discrimination.
Um, No, so when you think about it, it's also there is a colonial construct because you have, the white-skinned foreigner, the white-skinned invader, or rather lighter-skinned invader
Right.
coming in,
Mm, mm,
and then the invader needs to make a distinction between the ruling class
mm.
and the subject class. So that is one
Right.
angle to it. A second is that. Um, there is also, my children themselves were talking about, what is black to us? Black is going out in the sun. It is going
Mm,
out in the sun. It is working in the sun. It is playing in the sun.
mm.
And unfortunately for us, a lot of manual work is associated with uh,
Right.
um, with communities who are,
Mm,
who are in the labor
mm.
force, who are out there and who do not live in places or work in spaces protected from the sun. And that means that we are already making a distinction between, and we are making that connotation um,
Mm,
of being out there and doing hard and arduous work, or
mm.
and as against, the blue collar white collar thing also. And uh, and therefore there is a value connotation which unfortunately develops secondary.
Right, right, right. So it becomes more of a class thing as well. Uh, and given that there are all kinds of, like, even in today's age, there are all kinds of beauty products that talk about advertising and promoting whitening. There are women influencers who are also advocating such products, talking about them. So color bias definitely
Now,
this.
AI tools that help you to create an image of yourself that does not exist.
Mm, 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 mm. So, how do you think, and what kind of conversations that need to be done when it comes to colorism and its intersection with, especially the class, caste, gender?
Hmm. I think it's more a case of, ultimately, it's a case of equity. It's
Right.
about being able to push aside the feeling that we need to be one thing and one thing only, which can be your ideal. The ideal itself has to be a many splendored thing. It can be
Mm,
so
mm.
many ideals that we
Right.
need to be comfortable with. So it is actually about promoting diversity.
Right, right. Like, responding to my first question, where you said, like, maybe men not always escape the judgment of when it comes to color based roles, but then we say pretty for women and we say tall, dark, and handsome for men. Uh, do you see that the definitions of beauty standards, when it comes to women and men, that itself is different? And this has happened to a lot of leaders, that their dresses are discussed first, their color is discussed first, before their roles or what they have done is discussed. It happened to Indira Gandhi's saris, and there was an IAS officer here in Tamil Nadu whose sari was discussed more than her role in the as a secretary. So, do we just cut it down, their identification itself, to that particular uh, look of how they are going to perform their duties?
Hmm. Well, let me start with the tall, dark, and handsome. The tall,
Mm.
dark, and handsome is actually a very Western construct. So
Right. Okay.
it
Mm.
is because in the Indian cultural pantheon,
Mm.
tall, dark, I mean, handsome, yes, but tall and dark are
Mm.
really these are just phrases that we've taken plucked out of Western constructs. And why do the Western say tall, dark? For them, the dark is dark amongst a Caucasian color. Not necessarily, it is certainly not black. You never will
Right.
hear someone say it all black and handsome. Uh,
Right. Right.
there is
So that itself is
also,
different.
yeah, although now in conversations there and in entertainment and media, you find interesting, you find that effort of trying to look at black people and black communities
Yeah.
and them into mainstream hero and role models. So
Mm.
that of course the effort is there, but that effort is actually a counter. It is a defiance of the
Mm.
existing wars. Uh,
Right. What kind of conversations, like, the since, like, I'll just give you an example of the certain professions which come with a guideline of you need to be fair, especially in the hospitality industry, and all that, and especially for women, that's the criteria. So is it like they're also kept out of certain professions because you're not fair enough, to be in this particular profession? So, do we just limit the opportunities as well for women in such cases?
it's because in modeling, um, in media, in entertainment, we want to project beautiful. And if our standard of beautiful does not include black, then we will exclude black.
Right.
The whole thing, and that's where we are right now.
Mm,
And the purpose should be, or fight should be,
mm.
to bring in black as beautiful too,
Yeah.
uh, to bring in multiple sizes as beautiful too. Uh,
Mm.
to
Yeah.
so in terms of discrimination, and you will find that men have to face the problem of you don't have the adequate height. You know that becomes something which
True.
which makes you feel that you are
Mm.
inadequate. Yeah,
Right.
and you've got to then compensate for it.
Right.
These are all,
Right.
I mean, so it's all around one particular standard that we are creating these complexes. I mean, these social these standards of beauty that we set for ourselves are problematic. We
Mm, mm.
and and it is problematic that the entertainment industry and associated industries all push only one particular standard.
Right.
So
Right.
we've got to have stories around other standards, and we start start putting non-conventional people and
Mm.
and enjoying what they bring to
Right.
to the whole picture.
Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Ma'am, in reference to your post, I mean, you had posted it and then deleted it and then posted it again because you felt like there was a very good response saying that this should be discussed. Uh, do you like there would have been many incidents that would have pointed it out, like we discussed, it happens right from the childhood. What prompted you to express it at this point?
Hmm. Well, one, it was coming from within the context of my office.
Right.
And
Okay.
two, it was not just about the color of my skin, but
Mm.
putting that color onto the color of my administration. Right.
Right, right, right. Linking
So,
it completely to your work and
so
abilities. Right.
it was,
Yeah.
that was surprising,
Mm.
strange. Also, it was like I do not for a moment think that was intended or consciously intended to put me down. But
Right,
there was
right.
this conflation, which is,
Mm.
which was out there. It was just there. And it was like, come on, I mean, which century are we living in? And
Mm.
uh, and I had to, the very fact that you look at connecting the two seemed to
Mm.
be something that needed to. I mean, I needed to just have it out,
Bring it
get
up
it out,
there. Mm.
and writing is a way of catharsis in a sense. So
Right,
I've said it, I've made other people listen to it, good
right.
enough. So, and but then people listened and started commenting far more than I thought they would. So it was like,
Okay.
oh, no, I'm going to retire right now.
Right.
Do I really want to get into all this? I said, yeah, which is
Mhm.
why I took it off.
Okay. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, another thing in your post that was like really beautiful is how you've conveyed that your children have helped you to embrace the color of your skin and understand that even black is beautiful. While the color bias is still there, and we just talked about it, do you see that there is a silver lining in the youngsters today, when it comes to color biased discrimination? Do you think there can be a hope of change?
We have looked at the at social media as something which is damaging of perception,
Mm,
which is affecting our body image and all of that, because it is so easy and strong to project a particular false sense of
mm,
of beauty and value, and make
right.
everybody feel that you need to aspire to it. So that's one side of the
Mm,
social. But the other side of it is also
mm,
that it is bringing in quite a bit of cosmopolitanism into conversations. It is bringing
right.
in thoughts of a whole host of people. It is giving you exposure to thoughts, conversations, narratives, opinions,
Mm,
yeah, and options that
mm,
the older generations have not had the luxury of being exposed to. So the very fact that you have so much more of exposure
mm,
means
mm,
uh, that those of us who think more and who challenge and question more are likely to have a lot more of information to base those questions on.
mm, mm, mm.
And so the thinking community in every generation thinks on the basis of the data, of the knowledge, of the information that it is exposed to. And I feel that the younger generations right now, that exposure is so much more, um, it's humongous. It is so much more than we ever had,
Right.
and that we had access to. And so that access is important, which means that there are so much more voices among the young who are
Mm,
a lot informed, who are a lot more sensitive, who are a lot more inclusive, and who understand equity in ways that we never did.
right,
So yeah,
right, right.
I'm pretty hopeful.
Okay, okay, okay. So, as we wrap this up, ma'am, what's one thing that you would like to tell on how to, stand their ground? You've been in service for so long, and that would be inspiration for them.
I will say, look at yourself and search for the beauty that is there. It is there. It's just that you have been conditioned not to see it.
Right, right. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you.